But we are on talk show number 11, Design Thinking for Success. And our guest tonight is Mr. Bruhad Buch. That's his picture, as you can see him. Just a small, just couple of slides for letting you know his credentials. Mr. Bruhad Buch is a design thinking practitioner and a founder for his organization called Auma Solutions. He has a multifaceted experience in retail, BFSI, manufacturing, infrastructure, engineering, procurement and construction, and oil and gas industries. He's worked with Tata Group, Mahindra Group, RPG Groups, and few more. He's conducted over 300 workshops across levels with an average satisfaction index of something like 92%, which is fantastic. He's known for designing and delivering innovative learning methodologies using flip and dip approach. We're going to talk to him. One more slide, please, on him. He's a postgraduate from IIPM. He holds his bachelor's from Narsi Monji, and he has multiple certifications before he became design thinking expert. So I can read it out for you. He's an STTP from UK. He's which is design thinking practitioner. He's certified dermatologist. I cannot read that sentence, that word, but he's a consultant by DMRC Singapore, instructional design specialist. He's lead Six Sigma, Green Belt, MBTI practitioner, recognition of program completion by Harvard Management Mentor, and he has an assessment skill development specialist. Next slide, please. Okay, what the viewers can expect today on today's session is about what is design thinking actually and what it is not. I'm going to give you a small paragraph before I actually start the show. But these are 4 takeaways that the attendees should try to, extrapolate from here. Also, to take from here. Students and professionals can also benefit from it, making the best of it. What is the relevance of design thinking to literally everyone, every age, every profession, and developing skills to using the design approach. These are 4 takeaways that the audience can expect from here. That's Mr. Bruhad Buch once again. I'll request him to come live. He's already online, but I request him to come live, please.
Hello, good evening. Very good evening. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Rajiv. Thank you so much, and very good evening to all the viewers. I hope all of you doing as good as both Rajiv and I are doing.
All right. Before we proceed, some ground rules for everybody who's on this show. Guys, please note to all of you just 3 points. This session can go up to something like 80 to 90 minutes. Please remain with us. Please keep yourself on mute mode, no video mode. That does not apply to me and Mr. Bruhad. We cannot go on mute. We cannot go on no video mode. But everybody else, please remain on mute mode. And for the audience who are with us on Zoom, a few poll questions will come. Something like 3 to 5 questions will come to Zoom attendees only. Those who are on Facebook, they will only be able to see a slide but not participate. These poll questions will be for all of you, and we'll derive questions out of that and check the analysis about those from Mr. Buch also. So please do participate in all of that, in all those poll questions. Trust me, this is going to be pretty quick. This is about 20 to 25 seconds per question. So just, please do participate in this. Okay, let me put the show live now. Just a few paragraphs about what we are trying to discuss today with Mr. Buch. So ladies and gentlemen, and our honorable guest today, Mr. Buch, we are on the topic design thinking, design your life for success today. The term DT, which is design thinking, has been buzzing in the Indian markets since a few years. Actually, it was kind of inaudible or never heard few years ago. In fact, you might have observed that bachelor's and master's program have also come up in the recent past with the word design somewhere, appended to that. Something like these are design specialty programs, something like design, product design, communication design, instruction design, etc. But that's about the specialty that we are trying to, look at in that particular bachelor's or master's program. What we are trying to do here on this talk is design thinking. That is more to do with an approach, I guess, which is Mr. Buch will, of course, clarify and give more, and enlighten us all. It's a way of doing things, if I'm right in my, guess. The topic is slightly abstract, I must agree. not very common. In fact, if you read history, unlike other subjects which are something like 300 to 1000 years old, many of the engineering subjects especially, this term and study is pretty new about design thinking, and was first coined and used somewhere, I think, in the year 1950s or something like that. So just about 60, 65 years old or 70 years old. Mr. Buch on today's show will help us understand and provide guidance about how this should be interpreted and understood and used in our plans. So before I move on, Mr. Buch, I would like to, and the audience, I would like to, give an opening poll to everybody so that everybody gets used to it. And also we know what kind of profiles of participants are online. Admin, can you please put the first poll online? Guys, you will see the first poll on screen. Yes, you can see that now on screen. And shortly, you will also have the poll live. You will be able to participate in that. Here it is. You have only 10 seconds on this. Just participate quickly on this. We just want to know who you are. Student, parent, teacher, or a professor, or anybody else. 3 seconds more. All right, I'm going to end the polling now. All right. This is how we are placed, Mr. Buch. So we have more of students, parents, but the teacher and professor category is the highest. So that, okay, fine, the results can be removed now. All right, so we move ahead to Mr. Buch. While the results got compiled and shown here as an expert on the subject, how the topic design your life or design thinking should be taken and understood by students, parents, teachers, professors, or professionals. First of all, I understand this is not just meant for the academic fraternity. It's meant for almost everybody from you. I understand that. So, what's your view, sir?
All right. Firstly, Rajiv, you're doing a tremendous job by keeping a facilitator silent for so long. So, kudos to you on that. Right. Okay. So, yes, design thinking is a subject of, intrigue. And a lot of people have been, talking to me about it. And they've been asking me as to, how many years old is this particular concept? Why is it that, it's suddenly buzzing in the market? And is it only for designers? Is it only for other people? And my only answer to that is design thinking is a mindset. It is not a tool. It is not a process. It is not something that can be just applied and seen as a result. It is more of a mindset, and which is why design your life as a topic is very, very interesting. The reason for that is when people use the word design thinking, they always think that it's about designing something, or it's about art, or it's about craft, or it's about something in the field of design. And most of the time, people have come and told me that bro, this is only for corporates, who want to become practitioners, or who want to just understand this concept. But let me tell you right away, it is for almost everyone. Right from your homemakers to all those people who are even retired at this point in time. And the best part is the educational fraternity, be it the students, be it the teachers, be it the professors, be it the the coordination team who is sitting in the schools and colleges and other educational institutions. It is for everyone. It is for every single person. And everyone who touches design thinking and understands the magic of design thinking will never ever leave this particular mindset, and that is a guarantee that I'm giving over here. I know a lot of people will say, bro, how can you give a guarantee? Aajkal to pankhe ki bhi guarantee nahi aati. But this is what I'm saying. I have experienced this mindset for the last 10 years or so, and it has just changed my life for good. So whether you're a student, whether you're a teacher, whether you are a professor, or whether you are a parent, you can use design thinking for doing anything that you want. And that is the beauty of this particular mindset. And that's exactly why Rajiv, we are here talking about this so that everyone can understand how design thinking can help them. Before you ask me another question, I want to give you a very small story. Right, I was I was in California, and I visited one of the schools wherein there was a teacher who was willing to show me how she has transformed her classroom. And I was like, all right, I can see that. And she said, you're a design thinking practitioner, I hear. I said, yes, I am a design thinking practitioner, and I'd really love to see what you do. Which grades do you really teach in? She said, I'm actually, teaching the second grade and third grade students. I'm like, okay, fine. I mean, what max will be there? There'll be certain toys, there'll be certain, these books that are there, there'll be certain stencils and all of that. I entered the room, and it just changed the way I look at things. When I entered the room, the entire wall was full of images. And all those images are not regular images, they are all infographics. And those infographics are the ones which people today are using on LinkedIn. All right. And that was something that really intrigued me. And I really asked her as to why have you done these? These are very complex things. And the simplest answer was that, bro, it's very simple. The future is not tomorrow, the future is today. And if we do not prep up our students today, they will never be able to see the future tomorrow. It took me aback, it took me some time to, understand what she was really trying to say. And I asked her as to how did you use, this particular piece? And she said that, I was, listening to one of your, Facebook lives, and, you were talking about how you can, design your classroom, how you can design a classroom experience. And, I just tried it out, and, the kind of response the students are giving is amazing. And then, the students came in, and I started interacting with a couple of them. I was taken aback by the kind of knowledge that they have. I took away so many things from there, and I said, next time I'm going to come to California, I'm going to visit this place because I'm learning a lot from here. Thank you so much for this experience.
Great. Okay, before we move on, we're going to explore more on this, but there will be one more question that we would like to check with the audience. So admin, I request you to put poll question number 2. That's a mid-send on the screen. Admin. All right. That was question number 1. So please put question number 2. Yes, this is about checking on the screen, on the Facebook screen, it's still appearing as question number 1. Okay, yes, that's right. What comes in your mind when you use the word design? Guys, you have 25 seconds with you to respond. What comes in your mind when we use the word design? Let's understand, let me try to understand what is your view about what design is. The creativity, look and feel, final product, something else. I'll give you 5 more seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. End polling, please. Okay, here are the results you can see of what people feel. You can remove the screen and put us live, please.
This should be an interesting.
Okay, so that goes. So I don't know you're surprised or not. I am not.
I'm not.
I'm not. People feel that this is something to do with creativity. All right. So this will be analyzed and described in the next question. I guess Mr. Buch will do that. What is design thinking, and why is it important for everybody, Mr. Buch? What is your thought about it?
All right. So let me first start with the poll question. It's a very interesting response, and this is a common response that I get across every session that I take. When I say, what do you understand when I use the word design and, creativity, art, craft, what it looks like, what it feels like, what is the final product, all of this comes by. And I say, this is the biggest myth that needs to be busted right here, right now. And I'm going to be giving you a very confusing, definition of design. So design is to design the design of a design. Let me repeat it. And you can try using it. It's like a tongue twister. It's design is to design the design of a design. And that is what is meant by a design. So what exactly is design? All right. So basically, design is basically a concept, a general concept to design an activity which is derived from a plan or an intention to reach the desired outcome. Let me repeat it once again. A general concept or a policy to design activities based on a plan or an intention to achieve the desired outcome. And that is what exactly is meant by design. So whenever I say, this, you're like, bro, why are you confusing us? Seedha bata do. What is it that you really want to tell us, And the only thing that I want to tell you is that design is an entire process design is a step-by-step approach to reach that particular outcome that you have desired to do. And that's exactly what design your life means. That is exactly what design thinking means to me. That is exactly what design thinking should mean to all of you. And I recollect, this very interesting, conversation that I was having with one of the college students. So, I was invited by, one of the esteemed institutions, and I was taking a session. So there were around 250 students over there. And, I generally don't use a mic, but the kind of noise that was there in the room, because we were doing it a very experiential, kind of a thing. And, when we ended the piece, I had some very interesting questions. And the first question that came to me was, sir, while you're talking about all these things, how is it that we can use design thinking in our careers? And, I was like, this is a very good question that you asked me. So how do you think you are thinking about your career at this point in time? And he said, I'm looking at becoming like this, I'm becoming like this, I'm becoming like this, and all of that. And that is where I introduced this concept as to design is to design the design of a design. And the student is looking at me and like, thank you so much, sir, for confusing me further. Can you please give clarity on exactly what you're trying to say? And I said, when you look at your career and when you look at design thinking in your career, a design thinker will always think about how I want to be known versus what do I want to achieve. And listen to me very carefully here. How do I want to be known versus what do I want to achieve? And your answers will change. So the general concept or policy is कि अगर हमको career करना, if we want to really make a career, what is it that we should do? Should we go to science? Should we go to commerce? Should we go to arts? After that, should we do an MBA? Should we do an MTech? Should we do a BTech? Should we go outside and do masters? And there's a lot of confusion because there's a lot of information today. There are tons of career counselors out there who are giving, advice. And, I'm very, very sure, all of you at TASA Asia are doing a fantastic job with career counseling. And these questions come to you. And I know the kind of mindset that you guys are with, and you're helping students to get placed. And it's a fantastic thing. You guys are already using design thinking. The only thing that any student needs to know is how do I want to be known? And that is the desired outcome. The general concept or policy is I want to grow in my career. What is the desired outcome? How do I want to be known? Now comes the plan or intention and then the activity as to what you should do and what you should not. So your question, Rajiv, on why design thinking should be used, or what is the importance of design thinking in everyone's life? It is the way you think. It is the way you approach any career. It is the way you understand yourself a lot better than you already are. And I'm sure TASA Asia is doing a fantastic job with that, because I've seen the kind of work that you guys do. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, boss, this is design thinking. All you are doing is helping the student understand how is it that he or she should be known, and the aspirations are something that the student should focus on at this point in time, rather than thinking of what should be done. Because if you ask a question to any career counselor and say, what should I do? You will have thousands of options, and they can Google it as well. So what is the role of a career counselor? That's exactly what TASA Asia does. They help you to understand what are your aspirations? Where is it that you can see yourself? Where is it that you can feel comfortable about it? Where is it that you can see that I have really achieved my purpose in life? And that is what design thinking does to you. And I know, you may be saying, bro, all of this sounds philosophical and all of this. And then I've heard many motivational speakers speaking about this. But forget about the motivational speakers. Think about it for a moment. What do you achieve by asking the question, what should I do? Because at the end of the day, all those answers are there with you. All you need is a little guidance. And that guidance is something that design thinking can bring in your life. In a regular or a conditioned thinking perspective, we call it conditioned thinking. And I'm sure, this will come by. But in conditioned thinking, we always search for the right answer. What is the solution to this problem? Please give me an answer. And, the default condition of the mind is it shuts as soon as some problem comes to us. So what do you do? What do you not do? What a design thinker will do is not search for the right answer. They will search for the right question. What is the right question? And I will leave it to Rajiv to take it forward. Till then, I need all of you to think about this. Instead of what is the right answer, think about what is the right question. And that is what design thinking can do to you if you apply this kind of a mindset in your life.
Great. In fact, the next question I was about to ask you is how do you differentiate between regular thinking, normal thinking, conditioned thinking, whatever way you say, between that and the word design? I mean, what is the importance of the word design in that? So you answered that already.
So, I'll give you a little more detail on conditioned versus, design thinking. Now, while what is the right answer versus what is the right question is the intriguing part, the best part about this is a design thinker will never benchmark. And I know, the first question that comes to me is, are you serious? We have to look at other people's success as to how these people have succeeded. Look at the Ambanis, look at, the Tatas, look at the Birlas, and look at all these entrepreneurs, look at all the, major corporate houses, look at Mr. Mahindra, look at Mr. Goenka, and, think about how these people have, done those things. And what they're doing is design thinking. They are not benchmarking at this point in time. So while conditioned thinking urges you to go towards repeatable, proven processes, a design thinker will always say, be intuitive. Focus on your intuition, focus on your instinct, and that is something that will take you forward. Because design thinking is not about just data, facts, and events. Well, design thinking is more about stories, it's more about experiences, and it's more about the feelings, because design thinking is a human-centered approach to innovation. Yes, everyone has been asking me about design thinking ka definition kya hai, because our education system is so hell-bent on giving definitions. So now I'm going to be giving you a definition, and probably that will answer Rajiv's question. Design thinking is a human-centered approach to innovation that draws from the designer's toolkit and integrates the needs of people, technology, and business results. Or even for that matter, an education student's aspirations, or even a teacher's aspirations for that matter. So design thinking, why is it a mindset? Is a designer always carries the toolkit. You ask a question, we will convert it into stories and give you an answer. And which stories? I remember one more story. And this is a story about a teacher who came to me. And, she said that, Bruhad, I am teaching mathematics. And, mathematics generally, the short form of mathematics, maths, is, I'm not too sure how many of you are local, but Meri Atma Tumhe Har Pal Satayegi is generally the definition that, maths has. And for the international audience, it's more like, my soul will always irritate you, it's not going to ever leave you, and that is mathematics for you. How can I make a subject like mathematics interesting? And as soon as, one of the other teachers overheard the conversation, she jumped in and said, see, I teach history. The other one joined in, I teach English. Now, how do I make these interesting? And my question to them was, what is it that you want to achieve at the end of your session or at the end of your lecture? And the thing they said is, no, we are asking you a question. Why are you counter-questioning us? I'm like, please answer this question and you will automatically get an answer. And okay, they thought for a minute and they said, we want to have our students, experience something which is very enriching. We want our students to be happy after that session. We want our students to be smiling after that session. So like, all right. So then what is the right question? Is it the teaching style that is a problem, or is it the curriculum that is a problem? What do you think is a problem? The curriculum is the same, but yeah, I think we can change the way we are teaching. Can we use puppets? Can we use stories? Can we use mind maps? Because you told in the session something about mind maps and it was very intriguing. I'm like, have you given it a try? Have you given it a shot? Like, no, we haven't given it a shot. I'm like, this question, I want you to park it, do a 1 month of experimentation, and then come back to me with the question. This is my card. After 1 month, they give me a call and they're like, bro, this is wow. It just changed our life. We are using mind maps for mathematics. We're using mind maps for history. We are using, these, puppets and all of that for English. And then students are just loving that experience. So thank you so much. And I'm like, do you really want to thank me? Or is it you who needs to be thanked, because who is thinking at this point in time? That is the difference between a design thinker and a conditioned thinker. A design thinker will never shut his or her mind. What a design thinker will think of is, what is the purpose that I want to achieve at the end of this event, at the end of this conversation, at the end of this particular session, at the end of this year, at the end of 5 years, at the end of 10 years, at the end of 15 years. And once you change your thinking, everything around you will change. And that is the difference between an evolutionary conditioned thinking versus a revolutionary design thinking. And I hope I answered your question, Rajiv, with this particular story.
Oh yes, admin, I'll request you to put the share the full results back on screen, results only, of question number 2. And I will request Mr. Buch to give the correct answer on this. That was the result.
All right. So
Okay.
it is
So
actually
what is the right answer?
it is actually something else. And the 5% audience, you could pat your backs. You've done a nice Google research and you've come to this particular Facebook Live and the Zoom session. But yes, all of those who have put creativity, look and feel, final product, it's okay. Everyone thinks in that particular direction. All you need to think of is how do you merge all of this and create a process which is actually called design.
So it's a process to reach the desired outcome, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right. Admin, you can remove this, the results now. We'll proceed forward. But before we do that, we have question number 3 now for the audience. One more time, admin, can you please put the screen live? Question number 3, design thinking. You have 5 choices on your screen. This is once again, you have 25 seconds to answer. Your time starts now. The Facebook audience can also see that on your screen. 25 seconds only, 10 seconds more to go. Quick. Don't worry, whatever you are, you'll get no marks, no addition, no subtraction, no negative marks for this. Go ahead. All right, 2 more seconds. Okay, end polling. Okay, here is the result.
Wow.
Of what
so the
think.
audience is really listening. Okay.
Yes. ये तो question leak हो गया, answer leak हो गया, sorry. Okay, anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So yes, your response to how should the students take it or the audience take it. So this is a human-centered approach that draws a designer's toolkit. You already mentioned that. Can you provide an example
I will.
Okay.
So it's a very interesting poll. I always sense that some people may be listening with intent, some people are not, and those are listening with intent, they got the 50%. The audience of 50% is really listening with intent. Okay, so the idea is that everyone must have Googled design thinking by now.
But there's one thing, Mr. Buch, I will say there is a 0 on the second last answer. So people have probably understood that this is not just meant for designers and creative people. That's for everybody.
So if that is
that draws a thumbs up.
Absolutely. I think all of you deserve a round of applause for that. And Rajiv, that's the beauty about this particular piece. That once we have the question and answers, people start realizing that design thinking is not just something that is meant only for creative people. So to answer that question, many of the people understand design thinking, and if you've visited IDEO's website, you'll see the inspire, ideate, and implement the 3 phases of design thinking with 5 steps. That is the empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. And our people will like, oh wow, it's a nice and a very structured way. And Bruhad also said that design is a structured process to reach the desired outcome. But what if I say that it's not as structured as you think? It is more abstract than structured. And I know most of you will feel like, coming and, killing me for that, saying that you're now confusing us again. Once you say that it's a structured approach, now you say it's not a structured approach. And this is the myth that I'm going to be busting at this moment right now, right? So there was an education institution who wanted to build course curriculum, right? And, they approached me and they said that, Bruhad, we've heard about you from, some people, and, you've of course taken a session, and one of our teachers was there. And she suggested that, we take your help. And, this is our problem, all right? So, we have certain regulations given by the board, that this is how the curriculum needs to be designed. And, there are certain restrictions that we have. And so how do we use, design thinking over here? I want to become a design thinker. I'm like, wow, that's a fantastic aspiration that you have, but I can't make you a design thinker in 2 hours. It will take around 21 to 30 hours for you to first understand, 2 years to implement, and then you can become a design thinker because it's a process. So she's like, no. I know that, it's empathize, defined. So I've done the empathy part. I've done the problem definition part. I just am looking for ideas. And I was like, okay, that's a very interesting, thing that you're saying. So can you tell me, what is the problem statement that you have? And the problem statement that came by was, I want to redesign my curriculum. How do I redesign my curriculum? And I'm like, okay, isn't that the same question you asked me? She's like, yeah, but that is the problem statement, isn't it? And I think about it. If the question is something that you're asking me, and the same question is being applied in designing your course curriculum, isn't there something wrong? And she's like, I'm not understanding a word of what you're saying. I'm like, okay, fine. Tell me what your users have said, or tell me what empathy interviews have got you. And when we went through the empathy interviews, all they said was, it's not about the curriculum, boss. It is about how you conduct the classroom in that particular moment. So while there are a lot of digital pieces that are there, and it was an IB board, right? So it was an international board. And when they said that we have all this technology, we have all the smart boards, we have this, we have that. I'm like, okay, fine. I mean, I'm not really fascinated by this, because it's end of the day, how are you presenting that particular course to the students? So after all that, she said, okay, so it's not really about designing the curriculum. It is more about innovating in the teaching methodology with the kind of curriculum that we have. Yes. Or you could also think of asking them some questions. And the questions are, what is it that you expect out of the curriculum, versus saying, what do you want? And she said, how will that make a difference? I'm like, why don't you give it a try? So we called certain students in. These are, ex-students of this particular institute. And, they were now in college, and, they had done all these things. They came by, and when they started answering the questions, there were two stark differences in the answers. What do you want? We want to have fun. We want to enjoy. We want to have a lot of excitement in the classroom. All right. Versus saying, what do you expect out of the curriculum? Oh, we expect a more structured approach. We expect, a lot more, break in between, the kind of curriculum that is being done. We expect the teachers to, deliver things in a phase-wise manner, in a way that there is no last-minute rush, and the multiple things that came by. And like, do you now understand how is it that when you change the question, the answers change? And then she's like, okay, now give me 10 minutes, all right? I'm going to be using this tool, and I'm going to be understanding how this entire thing happens. And she said, all right, this is the toolkit that I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 tools. I'm going to be using this particular tool because I think this is the best tool to be used. And when she used the tool, she understood that, it's not about redesigning the curriculum. It is more about structuring the curriculum in a way that it makes it easier for the teachers as well as the students. And she's like, this could be done in 10, 15 minutes. Why am I wasting, I've wasted 3, 4 weeks thinking about what to do with this curriculum. This is what a design thinker does. This is what a design thinking person will always do, is reiterate or rethink about the problem and then understand what is the right question. Once you understand that, and you understand who is the user, because a design thinking will never work with a product or something that is a thing. Design thinking always works with humans. What is it that the end user wants? What is it that your user is expecting? And you help your user with what they expect. And that is what is design thinking per se. So the answer to that question, the 50% people, yes, please give a pat on your back. You're absolutely right. It is a human-centered approach that draws from the designer's toolkit, because tools are many, but how to use it is something that only a designer will know.
Great. Okay, would you like to share, Mr. Buch, your journey about on design thinking and how design thinking made a difference in your life?
Yeah, that's a very actually it's a very interesting story, because I started off as a sales guy. And I moved slowly to the human resources function, and slowly then became a specialist in the learning and development function. And, over a period of time, I designed my journey, this entrepreneurial journey, around 12 years back. This is when I was introduced to the concept, and I didn't believe in the concept like most people do. I thought, this is just another jargon by somebody from, the US who's coming here and trying to mint money. And, that's something that's happening. But at the end of the day, I have invested money. So let me go and understand as to how I can apply this. And you won't believe it. I asked that facilitator more than 120 questions in, the 21-hour journey. It's literally 120 plus questions. And that facilitator was like, boss, next time you're going to come, please give me a heads up so that I can be prepared with the kind of questions that you asked. But those questions, the answer to those questions was a question. So when I asked him, how do I, I'm thinking of, getting into the entrepreneurial journey after 10 years or 12 years of my career, and I'm thinking to do this. Can you help me or can you guide me as to how design thinking can help? Why don't you take, the time off? What do you think you want to do? And come back with that answer after 2 days. And this is a question that, most of the time we forget that, the solutions are here. It's all that we need to, explore that a little bit. And so when I was in my journey, I started, thinking about this parallelly. And so if I were to get into an entrepreneurial journey, there will be lakhs of people like me who will be doing the same thing. There will be lakhs of people who would have already tried, tested, and done something. All the clients would expect something new every single time. Every time I attend a session or every time I go live on a session, participants and students will expect something new. So how do I bring this, novelty every single time I attend a session? And this is where design thinking really, really helped me, because in design thinking, all we talk about is stories. We never talk about facts. We never talk about data. We never talk about events. And this one story is something that really, really changed my life. And, I'm going to be sharing that story right now. My mom was, an educationist. She was the founder principal of, one of the esteemed institutions, in Kandivali. And, she always used to, give this food for thought, So I used to attend her sessions whenever she used to take it with the kids. And, I come from an education background. So, most of the family is from the education background. Of course, I was not very great with my academics. So, please don't look up to me for academics. But yeah, there's something over and above academics that I have achieved. But what happened is this, the story goes like this. My mom said that, life is like a car, right? Wherein you have the engine, you have the gears, you have the steering wheel, you have the clutch, the brake, the accelerator, and you have your passengers and all of that. What you got to think about is what gear to put when, how to keep the engine healthy, how to keep or maintain the tires in a way that your journey never stops, how to take care of your passengers in a way that, it's not only about your safety, but it's about the other person's safety as well. Irrespective of whatever car you purchase, whether they have the EBS, ABD or not, whether they have, the life bags, those bags or not, whether they have those safety features or not, it is your job as a driver to drive them to the right destination. And when you drive them to the right destination, the only word that will come out of their mouth is, "Thank you very much, you added value to my life." Absolutely. And when that hit me, it hit me so hard. And I was like, okay, when you talk about adding value, what about the money? And my mom said, the more you run after money, the farther money will go away from you. The more you run after value addition, the more people will get attached to you. And it's all about people. This journey is about people. The entire world is about people. And there is nothing and nothing more than adding value to a person's life. That is what she has done her entire life. And that is what triggered my journey and said, I'm going to do something that adds value to somebody's life. Every session that I take, every live session that I go to, every physical session that I take, I ensure that every participant takes at least one thing away. If they take even one thing away and implement that one thing, and it changes their life, I always say dua mein yaad rakhna, because those blessings have got me here today. And that is exactly what design thinking is. It's about adding value. It is always about people. If you cannot care about your people, if you cannot care about the people listening to you, if you cannot care about the people following you, what are you doing in life? There is nothing more than that in life. And that is exactly my story. I don't want to take you in कि मैंने कौन सी company में काम किया है. What have I done in those companies? Because it does not matter. What matters today is I am touching more than 1 lakh lives in a year. And when those 1 lakh lives, may say even 10% or 15%, wish me on 5th September saying, Bruhad, happy Teachers Day. Your sessions have made a difference to my life. It still brings a tear in my eye. And I say, it is not I who has made the difference. It is you who have made the difference in your lives. And that is what design thinking has done to me. That is what my mom did to me. And she was a proper design thinker. She may not know the concept. She may not know the theory behind this design thinking, but what she did to my life is so inspiring. It's so inspiring. And today, when my father tells me something, it gives me a different perspective, and design thinking taught me to listen. I am a person who always talks and talks and talks. But today, when my father says something, his corporate experience, his journey, it helps me to rethink. It helps me to stop. It helps me to put a brake and say, he's like my speed breaker. I want to really speed ahead and zoom out, saying that my mom said that it's about the destination. And when you reach the destination, the journey has to be beautiful. And he said, my father says the journey can only be beautiful when you take care of your vehicle, when the obstacles come in your way, when the speed breakers come in your way. So might as well slow down for a bit so that your passengers along with you understand the importance of slowing down when it is required. And that, my dear friends, is my story.
Great. That was something very good that you told me and told us about your life and how you progressed to what you are. In fact, it's a very pleasant surprise that you've been touching about 100,000 lives every year. So congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
So I'm going to ask you some questions, which I'm sure I'm going to ask you these questions on behalf of a few students that we also interact with. Sometime back, you just mentioned that this is something not to do with creativity, but you still have to, innovate a solution that works, or it's about the process design, etc. So does it, if there is a student, if creativity is an inborn skill, and if I don't have, suppose, so can design thinking be studied or this skill be developed by anybody, especially the student community? He's young, you say about 18 to 25-year-old, if he's attending today.
Yes, that's a very interesting question that you asked, Rajiv, because this is a question that always comes to my mind as well. Because I'm a very abstract thinker, so people call me creative, and I'm proud of the fact that I think creatively. But I got introduced to this concept of the whole brain approach. In one of my assessment centers that I was doing for one of, I was getting certified in assessment and development centers, and there the typical left brain, right brain thing came in, and I just told the facilitator saying, I'm a right brain person, I'm not more of a left brain person, and he looks at me up and down and he says, all right, can you explain that to me? And the typical explanation went like, I'm not a very analytical thinker. I can't think in process. I'm more of a creative, more of an abstract thinker. I think of patterns. I think of this and that and all of that. And he said, all right, okay, so do a favor. Why don't you go and, stack those glasses? So there were some glasses put on the side. And he said, why don't you stack those glasses in a way that it looks like a triangle? I was like, okay. So I went there without asking him, all right? I went there and I stacked it in a triangle. And he said, okay, just come back, all right? Look at that particular piece that you've done. And I want to now make it a square. I'm like, okay, but do you want me to use the same number of glasses? He said, yeah, please go ahead and use the same number of glasses. And I did it, I made it a square. He's now like, all right, what I want you to do is take one of all those glasses and actually pass it to each member in the team. And you would not believe it. What I did is I went there, I picked up the glasses, and I started from the person in the front and went step by step behind. And like, do you realize what you've done right now? I'm like, what? I've just given the glasses. Like, no, you followed a structured approach. I'm like, what? And yeah, I asked you to do a triangle, you went and did a triangle. I asked you to make a square, you made a square. I asked you to give the glasses, you went structured one by one, and tuck, 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 you gave the glasses. Where was the creativity? Put ulta chida kiya, did you turn the glasses, did you break the glasses, did you do something unique? Like, no. And that is the time he explained to me. There is nothing called as a left brain, right brain. What happens is your brain always functions as a whole. Some people are a little more towards the analytical side, and when they think, the instant reaction is analytical. The instant reaction is process oriented. The instant reaction is structured approach. But as a personality, you will always have a creative side. All you need to do is sharpen the saw a little bit, and as soon as you sharpen the saw, the creativity will come by. Now, this is what I do in my open programs when I run design thinking programs. Is when a person comes and says, "Bro, I'm an engineer. I'm conditioned to think in this way." I'm like, "Why are you stereotyping? Who said engineers cannot be creative? Why are you saying you're an engineer and you can't be creative?" And he said, "No. I just can't think that way." And then when I give them a creative task, I realize that the engineers are the best creative people in the world because they're actually designing stuff. How are you able to say that you are not a creative person? So the answer to your question is very simple. It is not about whether you are creative or not. It is about the way you think. If you are able to think in a little different way than what a general person or a normal person would think, you are creative. And this is where I'm going to be introducing a very interesting philosophy at this point in time. I'm sure everyone in this room has heard about out-of-the-box thinking. So Rajiv, you heard about out-of-the-box thinking?
Yes, of course.
Yes. And you know what? As a designer, we don't believe in that concept. There is nothing called out-of-the-box thinking. When we think, we kick the box, and that's what we call as the unbox philosophy. As a creative person, all you need to do is kick the box away, and you will automatically become creative. You want to try it at home, do it. All right. So whenever you face a problem, okay, try this activity out at home. Whenever you face a problem, all right, do not assume or do not judge the solution, or do not think about, okay, this is the solution, this is what I've tried and tested and all of that. All right. Remove that complete problem and step out of that particular zone and say, I am a guest in this house and I am actually facing this problem. I'm looking at this problem and seeing, कि इसका क्या solution हो सकता है. And trust me, 99% of the times you will get a solution. If you don't get a solution, give me a call and I'll tell you how to do that, and you will get a solution. The idea of a design thinker or the idea of a creative person is not to be, going abstract and thinking of multiple things and saying, कौन सा color use करना चाहिए या कौन सी नई चीज डालनी चाहिए. What is the different, whether yellow will look good, whether orange will look good, whether blue will look good. All right, those are creative people. They can understand those colors. But if you're doing something which is unique in your own space, you are creative. So it's not something that is inborn. Yes, there are some people who can think faster when they're put in a creative kind of a scenario. And this is another hack that I'm going to give you right now. Make everything visual. Rip off those posters of those motivational speakers who give you motivation for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Rip off those posters which give you those motivational quotes, and instead put your own quote over there. Put your photo over there and say, what would you think, or how would you inspire somebody else? Put your photo over there. I guarantee you will be motivated and charged every single day you get up. Because you should be your own idol and not anybody else. And that is what a creative thinker would probably think of. Why should I look at somebody else for inspiration? Why can't I be my own inspiration? And that is where a design thinker will come out and will kick the box and say, koi motivational speaker nahi hai, koi motivational quote nahi hai. How do I inspire myself? I am going to inspire myself every single day. And that is what a creative person can do every single time.
Fantastic. Okay. I'm going to give you a pause and give a question to now to the audience once again. This will go for 15 seconds, I guess. Question number 4, please put on screen, admin. Yes, everybody can see that. I'm going to give you only 15 seconds to answer. Actually, 25 seconds to answer. That this is the design thinking, according to you, is meant for arts, commerce, science students, or anyone and everyone.
Very interesting question.
Quick. Please participate, be quick. Okay, and the poll.
This is going to be interesting.
Well, you have the answer and just one answer. I think you have impressed so many. Just one answer. Everybody says the same.
Excellent. I guess all of you deserve a round of applause. From my side, all of you deserve a round of applause. Fantastic. Well done.
Fantastic. Ye sabke liye hai. I think that's a message that has gone to everybody. But if I am a student, why should I learn design thinking, sir?
The answer is very simple. It will just transform your life, right?
Well,
now, I remember a student of mine, this is 10 years back, and, I'm still in touch with that student of mine. And, that student wanted to, pursue engineering, but his inborn passion or, his real liking was towards cooking, right? And, he came to me and said, sir, this is something that I really want to do. But 10, 12 years back, the same philosophy, mera bachcha engineer banega, mera bachcha doctor banega, mera bachcha ye banega, lawyer, and all of that, and or a CA for that matter. Nobody thought about anything else. Of course, now things have changed. But when he came to me, I was like, all right, what is it that, or how is it that I can help you with this particular dilemma of yours? If you can just go to my father and explain to him. I'm like, I've had a very bad history with explaining to fathers, so that's something that, you're expecting me to do. And, I'll still give it a shot. And, when we entered into the conversation, all I did was listen to what his father had to say. And when the conversation ended, all I told the child is, why don't you just tell him what you really want to do? Because the father was so supportive, the child never opened up to the father and said that, I want to really do this. It was as simple as that. Okay, that I want to do this, and it just changed because I heard the conversation. I understood what is there, and that's what I told this child. This child who was coming to me. I told him a very simple thing. See, you're fascinated by what is happening around you right now, isn't it? Like, yeah, sir, how do you do this? I'm like, design thinking helped me to do this. It made me such a good listener at this point in time that when I listen to a person, I can understand what is the intent behind the question that is coming. Of course, in case you want to manipulate the entire piece, it's absolutely up to you. But when the question comes, design thinking helps you to understand what is it that can really help you to move ahead in life. And that is why every person should go and do design thinking. And it's not because I am a design thinker or I teach design thinking or this is my business model per se, but it just will change the way you approach anything. And let me tell you, there are three people who came to me individually and said, bro, we want individual coaching on design thinking. And I'm like, why do you want to do individual coaching on design thinking? And they're like, hey, bro, we know that if you can give so much value in a group of 15, 20, 100 people, I'm sure one-on-one we will get at least 100 times that value. And we want to really understand what is it that you can do. And in the morning I had 2 sessions, in the afternoon I had 1 session, and all of them on design thinking. And the first thing that came out as a result is, oh my God, I just should have thought about it this way. Why did I not think about it in the past? That question, why did I not think about it in the past, will get answered with design thinking. And that is why I urge every single student or every single teacher or even the parents for that matter to learn design thinking, because I am actually coaching a homemaker at this point in time for design thinking, and you will not believe it. So, there is a very interesting Japanese concept called cleaning without cleaning. Have you heard about that concept?
No.
So in Japan, what they say is, the kitchen should be so clean that, we should not have to, clean every single time. So they've designed the kitchen in a way that when the lady or the gentleman enters the kitchen and they do some things, it automatically cleans itself. Now, how that is done is something which is fascinating, because there it is a little automated. But here, the homemaker is now actually redesigning her kitchen without spending a single penny. Now, all of you will be asking, kaise kiya? Ye main nahi bataunga, because that is an individual coaching that needs to be done. But let me give you what the thought process is. Her thought process changed, saying, if I can change the way I look at my kitchen, if I can change the way I position certain things in the kitchen, I will save at least 3 hours per day. And what does she do in those 3 hours? 2 hours she spends with me in coaching, and 1 hour she does something else, which is actually evangelizing design thinking and teaching kids, because she takes tuitions. That is the beauty of design thinking, Rajiv. I can't think of any other beautiful example than this, because a homemaker, who's never thinking of design thinking, she comes to me and says, "Ki meko design thinking karna hai." And it challenged me, because I've never coached a homemaker for design thinking. And the answer is clear. Why should everyone do design thinking? This is what you get when you do design thinking.
इसमें कुछ steps हैं. Are there any steps or phases to design thinking implementation? And if they are, would you like to mention some of them or give some clarity?
So yeah. So there are, of course, there is the inspire, ideate, implement phases with empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. But there is something called as an explore phase, all right, which people generally miss out, and which is what we call as inculcating a designer's mindset. And every student must understand this particular piece. As a matter of fact, even every teacher should understand this, as to when you are entering into the empathy phase. First, understand what is your real problem statement. Once you articulate that problem statement, it becomes easier for you to take user inputs. Once you get the user inputs, you define and refine the problem statement. Once you define and refine the problem statement, you will get tons of answers. And it's not about funneling it down. So I'll give you a very interesting example. A 5-year-old child came up with this problem statement. And I was just visiting one of my friend's places, and his elder sister has a 5-year-old kid. And he was eating ice cream. All right, wo ice cream pighal gaya. So this child comes crying and says, my ice cream is going down. And my friend, just to tease me, said, or design thinker, what do you think about this? Can we make this a problem statement? Of course you can make this a problem statement. Why not? I was like, how the hell can you make, ice cream, melting as a problem statement? And I'm like, if the ice cream companies think about this, right, that what is the need of the user? So I'm the user. My need is to eat ice cream everywhere. Because, why? Because I want to enjoy the convenience of eating while on the move. So like, ठीक है, पर वो तो सबका problem है ना. So उसमें what they have to do is they just have to redesign the cone. I'm like, no, that's where you're wrong. You're assuming the solution. Why are you assuming that people have ice cream only in the cone? Why can't they have it in a tumbler? Why can't they have it in a bucket? Why can't they have it between something? There are multiple ways of doing it. So how can you think of redesigning ice cream to be more portable? How can you redesign ice cream? No, that is what the ice cream companies should think. Why are you thinking? But the thing is, you can convert anything, and the child is looking at me and he's like, uncle, can we really make ice cream, move everywhere? So, yes, beta, you can, but for that, you will have to go to ice cream companies. So when you grow up, let me know. I will teach you design thinking. And like, what the hell is this uncle saying? I don't know. I want to run away right now. What is design thinking? But the idea is, as a design thinker, you think so much on your feet that, the problem automatically comes and you can refine and define the problem statement. Once you do that, you have multiple ideas. You then prototype it, you give it shape. And, I teach something called a service prototyping. Because when you hear about prototyping, it's about the product. But service prototyping and then the end outcome. And it doesn't end there. Design thinking ends with a pilot, a story, and a model which can be implemented. And that is the beauty about design thinking.
For a student who has done his education or probably is just about to complete this, whichever field it is, it's arts, science, commerce, business, finance, or anything else, engineering, whatever it is, and he wants to learn design thinking in depth. Are there any programs available? If yes, would you like to name something?
Yes, Rajiv. So I am, running certain practitioner programs. There are learning programs that I'm running, which are live, which the students can enroll in. Of course, admin will provide all of them a link, and that they can, of course, enroll through that. And I'm all yours. As soon as you enter the course, you will begin your journey with me. And once you begin your journey with me, it'll just change your world. That is a guarantee again that I always give. So yes, I do open programs. There are practitioner programs. So, as a matter of fact, students at this age can actually become master practitioners. The reason for that is, they think in a very different way. And that is what design thinking, as practitioners, we want people to do. So yeah, if you want to become a design thinking master practitioner or a design thinking coach, yes, there are programs that I run. And of course, we will be showcasing that slide at the end of, this show once, Rajiv, you ask me to display this.
Okay, so whatever they are doing, they continue this, and this is an add-on to this. This will be an additional skill that they will have to study and develop, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. All right, guys. Audience, I will have poll question number 5 to you. If you are a parent, teacher, or anybody else, please participate in this. Admin, I request you please put question number 5 on screen. Poll question number 5. Yes, here it is, and you have, I think, 25 seconds with you. Be quick, answer this. If you are a teacher, especially, which I think most of us are, who's in this audience, DT stands for design thinking. Okay, I'll give you 5 more seconds. It's already crossed 10. Okay, close the poll. Okay, here is where the whole thing goes.
Okay.
Okay, you can see the screen, Mr. Buch?
Yes, I can.
All right. So most of them feel it's a mix of all this.
And those 59% people are absolutely right.
That's excellent. Excellent. So your views, why is design thinking important to teachers, and how do they use that in the field of education? I know you've been giving certain examples in the past just now, but would you like to throw certain more examples or some advice here?
Sure. So for teaching professionals, see, teaching is a very noble profession, and I realize that now. While we were in school or college, we never realized the value a teacher can bring to us. But now we realize that, and I really thank all the teaching, the teachers, fraternity, all of those who are online or seeing Facebook Live. Thank you so much for enlightening students. And this is where design thinking can help you to enhance that enlightenment. The reason for that is, and why or how is design thinking used for everything, is because design thinking is a mindset. And a mindset can be applied anywhere that you want to. It is only the will that needs to change, and everything will change on its own. Right. And I'm going to be talking about a coaching session. So I'm also an ICF certified coach. And when I was coaching one of the corporate employees, this is 3 months back, he said that I am into XYZ profession. Of course, I have to hide those pieces because I can't really reveal that. But because it's a coaching session, he said that my real passion is teaching. I have been in this field for a long time. But I started running after money in corporates. But what I realized is teaching gives me that satisfaction. Teaching gives me that that a good night's sleep. And I really want to get back to teaching, Bruhad, and I really need your help in that. Because of course, as a coaching session, of course, we ask questions and you reveal, get it from the client. But once he came out and he joined my design thinking practitioner session, what he realized was that he could teach in so many different ways. And he designed curriculums in a way that he's now teaching them on Facebook. He's teaching them on WhatsApp. He's teaching those pieces on webinars. And not only is he teaching using those innovative methodologies, the entire course curriculum is exactly like, let's say, an IGCSE board or an ICSE board or a CBSE board or an IB board will put it. So course curriculum is sorted, your teaching style is sorted. The enhancing the experience of the student in the classroom is very, very simple. As soon as the student understands the lingo that is being used in the classroom, things will completely change. And this is where I want to give you a story of a fascinating teacher that I really encountered 3 weeks back. So I went to a particular school, and I just wanted to attend one of the classes. And the principal of that particular school said, "Bro, why don't you attend this particular session?" She is teaching the 8th and the 9th standard students. And I just want you to see the way she teaches, because you're talking about design thinking, you're talking about all of this, but I wanted to see this particular teacher. And I was like, okay, theek hai, I mean, kya hoga? Maximum she'll be teaching in a different way. But when I went in, she was actually using web series. All right, not clippings. All right, so teachers don't get a wrong idea. She's not using clippings from web series, but she created the entire teaching piece in a way that the students were literally glued to the screen. And the screen was not a smart board. It was a blackboard. She had drawn characters of the webinar, of the web series on the screen, and she was explaining some concept. And it was such a beautiful way she was explaining that concept that the students are like, "Arey, haan yaar, this actor ne yahi kiya tha. This actress did the same thing. We know that. This is what is there." And they started arguing with each other. And the teacher then stepped in and said, "All right, students, what have you learned from this particular thing?" The entire session was about web series, and she explained a beautiful concept over there. And I was like, hats off, boss. The classroom experience was amazing, absolutely amazing. Nobody had a textbook, nobody had a notepad, but the kind of engagement that the students had was absolutely fascinating. And then I asked the principal, don't you have certain standards, rules, regulations, procedures, and all of that? And she just said one thing, when this teacher came to me and said, "I want to give students an experience that they will never forget for a lifetime." And I just said, yes, please go ahead, because that is something that we want. Again, design thinking, what is the desired outcome? The desired outcome is, I want to add value at the end of this session. I want to give the experience at the end of the session. And that is why the answer to that is all of the above.
Brilliant. I think that was a brilliant example to all the teachers who are attending this show, that if they have this kind of question in mind, how can they make their children or students come up with a better professional or better person? You need to do it yourself, and they'll take the ideas from you. I think that was a brilliant example. If once again a question on behalf of teachers, or parents who could be attending this show, if they have to start implementing this. I know you just took a 5-year-old example with an ice cream melting somewhere on the road, but if somebody has to develop a skill, what is the right age or level at which, you know, he should start looking at design thinking, developing design thinking skills seriously?
So honestly, if you talk about the right age, technically there is no right age. This is where the parents also come into the picture. And so if a parent has undergone design thinking, the way they, will teach their kids will be very, very different. And, I have a friend of mine who's in Pune. She's doing homeschooling. She's a mom blogger and a very famous mom blogger. And she's, doing homeschooling. So she said, I'm not going to send my kid to a play group. I'm not going to send my kid to this thing. And it's not about the money. It's about the experience that I want to give to my child. One is I want to spend more time with my child. Second is I want to brush up my skills because, at the end of the day, when you are in the corporate world, you are restricted to certain things. I want to challenge myself and I want to really teach the kids in a very, very unique way. And that is where design thinking ka neev aa jata hai. So, the base of the building starts getting built over there. But yes, if the child wants to or the student wants to do it, somewhere around the 8th standard or the 9th standard is something that, a student can, really think of exploring design thinking per se. Not from the practitioner perspective, but from the learning perspective. From the practitioner perspective, anywhere between 16 to 20 years, I think is a fantastic time because, they can start their corporate journey or their entrepreneurial journey with design thinking. Because, I'm running this program for, startups as well, wherein, there are very young people who are coming up and saying, we want to start up, we want to do a startup, and I'm using design thinking to help them think like a designer. So if there are youngsters who are, listening to me right now, there is a 17-year-old kid who is starting, who's doing a startup. There is an 18-year-old kid who's, doing a startup. And by 18-year-old kid, I'm sounding very old right now, but yeah, I mean, for us, they are kids at the end of the day. So honestly, yeah, there is no such age, but yeah, if 16 to 20 is something that I feel is most appropriate, if you want to really see the application of design thinking, for parents, teachers, they can use it with their kids, and that is something that will make a difference in their lives.
Are there any formal programs in India or abroad that one can take, maybe students or maybe teachers or professionals also?
Yes, so the practitioner program that I run is a global program. So, that has content combined of Stanford, MIT, Harvard, and IDEO, which are the top 4 schools of, teaching design thinking at this point in time. So that's the kind of content that goes to them. And the best part about that practitioner program is I don't use indirect case studies. I play live, which means you bring your problem, we will solve it together. And that is how the program is unique. And, on the go, we apply and they teach back as well. So what I mean by teach back is, when they finish this piece, when I finish explaining the concept to them, they are supposed to teach me. So they are actually supposed to take a program with me and they're supposed to make me learn design thinking with their problem statement. So by the time they finish their practitioner program, they would have already solved their problem.
You do those programs online or somewhere in the classroom format?
As of now, they are online. The reason for that is, the pandemic that is going on. But yes, I also, once, all of this opens, there are also, physical programs that I do. So yeah, that's something that, everyone should take advantage of.
Do you have any slides to show where the contacts could be established for this? If you want to request to admin to showcase those slides.
Yeah, so admin first can show this summary slide. So like I said, the ultimate motive is to add value to all of you and, not just to say where you can attempt this program. But yeah, this is a small piece. The M is the myth. The F is the fact.
Yeah, all right, guys, please don't misunderstand. M and F is myth and fact, not male, female. So just take care.
There goes the creative, Rajiv. So this is what happens when you think about creativity. But yeah, that's absolutely.
The headline is right because nowadays, any form that you fill up, there is an M or F, which means male or female. So I'm just
and nowadays with the kind of scenario that's going on, I won't be surprised if, I get certain messages saying, how could you do this to us? How come males are more than females? That's how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so design thinking is not only used for creating new products, it's also used for existing. Design thinking is not about how it looks like, about how it works. It doesn't produce faster result. It takes a little time, but you can draw from the designer's toolkit. It is completely human-centric. It is an iterative and an adaptive process. It is not only for designers, and I guess all of you nailed it. And it's not just another tool for innovation and problem solving. Innovation and problem solving is a part of the entire process. And I will request the admin to show them the beautiful slide which summarizes design thinking for all the viewers, because that is something that you need to know about design thinking, right? This is how beautiful design thinking looks. And if you are confused at this stage, you are absolutely in the right space, because you are supposed to be confused. If you are not, then I'll be surprised. All right. So yeah, the idea is that it's a roller coaster journey. If it was so simple for doing design thinking, everyone would have done design thinking by this time. And that is why, where practitioners are doing design thinking in a very different way. So I think all the people who are out there who are wondering that whether they should get into a design thinking course or not, I think this is the best time to get into a design thinking course, because not only will it change your life, but it will change the life of the people around you. Because with your change, there are others who are also getting impacted per se. So that is something that you can look at. And of course, you can Google this and you can Google everything that you want. But the experience that you get in a program is not, it's just incomparable. That's how it is. And admin, I request you to, please put in the last slide, which is, the practitioner program slide. So this is a recently, graduated design thinking practitioners. Vibha is the general manager of finance in one of the organizations. Jitesh is a sales maverick. Shabnam is a learning expert in one of the leading IT companies. Bhakti is a consultant and also a homemaker now. And Nolan is a global human resources head for one of the upcoming, startups. And that is something. So these are our latest practitioners. ये ताजा निकले हैं अभी 2 week पहले. They've completed their teach back journey. They've completed the design challenge, and they've been with me for 3 months. So it's you can of course go to the page and check out the the live video that I've done with them, and you will understand how beautiful this journey is. Also, TASA Asia, is our partner, and TASA Asia can share that link with all of you, and you can of course get in touch with the admin, or probably Rajiv can guide you to the right person who can give you the link in case you are willing to come and join me in this journey. So yes, Rajiv, this is what I had.
I think you summed up everything pretty well. Thank you, Mr. Buch. We need to wind up the session. Thank you for being on our show. I'm sure you seem to be pretty passionate about the subject, and that's how you speak so well. Thanks a lot. You've been really informative about the topic.
So Rajiv, thank you so much, and I really like to thank the TASA Asia team. Our journey has been fantastic. I've known you guys for some time now, and the kind of work that TASA Asia is doing is phenomenal. So if you've not experienced what TASA Asia does, I recommend everyone to connect with TASA Asia, because they're doing a fantastic job. So Rajiv, and everyone associated with TASA Asia, thank you so much. I'm really grateful to all of you for allowing me to share my thoughts on your platform. Truly grateful.
Thank you everybody. Thank you audience. We thank you too for coming up on this show. Remember, we do this session every Saturday at same time, Saturday at 7:30 p.m. on different topics that are connected directly, indirectly with students. Our topic for next week, as you see on your screen, UK as an education destination post-pandemic. So please do mark this date on your calendar. And if you have an interest to study abroad in any country, any subject, any level, please do come on the show and know how and why UK could probably or should probably on your radar. So see you next week again, same day, same time, 7:30 p.m. Namaskar.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening. Thank you so much.